delighted to spend this beautiful afternoon with you, and I think the theme is absolutely stunning. Everybody's looking so gorgeous this afternoon. Today is a special day to mark a milestone in all those candidates that have been part of the mentorship program. I haven't, unfortunately, as a teacher, been able to attend many of the Women in Business events. I have attended one or two this year, but I'm just interested in, if you could just put your hand up and tell me who was a mentee this year. Do we have any mentees that are here? There's one lady, two. Okay, thank you very much. Well, at least I know who I'm talking to, because I've written this speech for you ladies. So it's a very special day to celebrate this milestone in your entrepreneur journey, a celebration of your hard work, your resilience, and your determination. I'm really honored to be here with the two of you, and you, I'm sure, are representing all those other ladies that maybe couldn't have been here, and I'm sure this will be shared with them so they can get to enjoy the celebration in a recording. So as we celebrate your success, you're standing on the threshold of lots of possibility, and I'm sure that comes with some excitement, a little bit of fear, and some anticipation. I'd like to share with you a story where I was in your position many years ago. I remember standing on my graduation stage at Natal Teachers Training College when I was going to be capped as a teacher, and I was filled with so much excitement. So I get the feeling that you ladies might have had, having spent a wonderful year with your mentors and the other ladies in Women in Business. So I remember standing on that stage, and I was listening to the speaker, and there was a question that he asked us. He said, what will determine your success? And I'm sure many of you here might still be questioning, what is that special thing that you need in your entrepreneurial journey? So as I listened to him and asked myself, what will determine my success? I was very confident that I had exactly what I needed, because my favorite lecturer had said I needed 3 things to be a good teacher. So I pictured that I had a backpack, and in my backpack were all the things that I needed to make myself a good teacher. She said I needed 3 things. She said I needed an excellent knowledge of my teaching subjects. She said I needed an unconditional love of children, and I needed a bag of tricks. So in my backpack, I was confident. Well, I've definitely got the first. I've had an outstanding education, 4 years at Teacher Training College, and I've always had an unconditional love of children. And I had wanted to be a teacher from when I was a little girl. I really wanted to instill in those children that they need to be true to themselves, and I was going to be a wholehearted teacher and plant those seeds that would support them throughout their lives. I started teaching. Any teachers here? Ellie, there we go. So I thought that bag of tricks when I started teaching was playing on my mind. What was that? What did she mean? Well, it wasn't long until I discovered that there were a lot of things missing in my teacher's backpack. I had the training, I had the love, but there was something missing. Teaching, like being an entrepreneur, you juggle lots of things. And what concerned me very quickly, that I was so busy doing teaching, doing the marking, doing the lesson preparation, running from one thing to the next. I wasn't being a teacher. And no matter how hard I tried, working late at night, working on weekends, I wasn't connecting with all those little people in my class the way that I wanted to. And most importantly, I wasn't connecting with myself. Sorry, do you mind passing my water along there? Thank you. And so it was an absolute aha moment for me that I needed to do some exploring. Thank you.
There's a step where it's
What was I missing in my backpack, and where was I going to get it from? So just remember, in those days, Ali and I did not have TikTok, we did not have Google, we did not have Insta, there were no influencers, no overhead projectors, no cell phones. If you wanted to get something, you had to use these things. And you had to go to the library, and you had to sit on your butt, and you had to turn pages, and they couldn't even take a selfie and remember what was on that page. So I embarked on this, what do I need? What is going to make me feel that I'm connected, that I'm being, not just doing? It was years and years and years. I went to lots of courses and learned something. I read lots of books and learned. I was empowering myself. I was a lifelong learner then. I'm still a lifelong learner. It was this book that changed the trajectory of my life. I was in a bookshop one day, and it felt like it jumped off the shelf into my hand. Daniel Goleman's book, Why Emotional Intelligence Might Matter More Than IQ. Now we all know what IQ is. There was the A maths class. I was down here in this maths class. No matter how hard I tried, I was never going to be in that A maths class. What is important, and what Daniel Goleman gets across in this book, is that our brains are thinking and feeling. And simply put, emotional intelligence is blending the thinking and the feeling to make optimal decisions. Think about this. We are more feeling humans that think than thinking humans that feel. But for many of us, we were told to leave our emotions at the door. Thank goodness there's been so much change. And the research over the last 30 years since Daniel Goleman wrote this book is phenomenal. So he talks about the importance of self-awareness, self-management, social skills, motivation, and empathy. I got so stuck into this book. I was so excited to share what I'd learned with my colleagues. I started teaching social emotional learning, which is EQ for children in classrooms, and I wanted to go further. So I started studying, and I studied through the Global EQ Network 6 seconds, and when I got all my accreditation, I left teaching and became a certified EQ facilitator and mental fitness coach. I really wanted to bring these skills to as broad a community as I possibly could. So fast forward, here I am today, talking to you about the wonderful skills of emotional intelligence. So I'd like to introduce you to a client. Her name was Janet. Janet was a dynamic woman, purpose-driven. She started a skincare range focusing particularly on using sustainable. She was very into things that were eco-friendly. She was juggling lots of things, as you ladies will all know when you're an entrepreneur. And she was passionate about her business. But the harder she worked, the more she felt like she was falling back and struggling. Her friend Stella was worried about her and said, "How are you, Janet?" She said, "I'm fine. Stop asking me, I'm fine." She said, "No, really, I'm your friend. I've known you for a long time. You've got a lot going on. Your business is growing really fast. How are you? How's your husband? How are your kids?" She said, "Stella, I told you I'm fine." Stella said, "Fine. Do you know what FINE stands for?" Yeah. It stands for fragile, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Yeah. You are not fine. And by the way, I'm going to an EQ talk this weekend, so I think you should come with me. Sure, Janet felt like she'd been hit in the forehead. Stella was a very calm friend, and she'd never seen her so full of emotion. And when Stella left, she sat down in a chair and she thought, she's absolutely right. I'm not coping. I don't know what I'm doing. She too was so busy doing entrepreneurship, she wasn't being true to why she was doing it. She really wanted to get the skincare range out. It was all sustainable, using South African products, and she was passionate about it. She came to the talk and rather skeptically booked an appointment. And I remember when she walked in,